I want to start with the chatter that's still out there about Antonio Brown potentially joining the Seahawks. There was a video recently of Brown working out with Russell Wilson. Look, this connection has been out there for a while now. Remember last year when the Seahawks signed Josh Gordon? The report was that it was basically going to be Gordon or Antonio Brown. And they went with Gordon, in part because Gordon, they knew they would immediately get on the field. Antonio Brown, there was this lingering sense all of last season that if anyone signed him, he'd immediately be put on the commissioner exempt list based upon pending investigations for violation of the personal conduct policy. Well, here we are now, nearly 10 months after the lawsuit originally filed against Antonio Brown that created the specter of the commissioner exempt list. There were two other incidents after that. There was the alleged harassment via text message of a woman who came forward to SI.com with some details of a separate incident involving Brown. And then there was the incident earlier this year with the driver of a moving truck down in Florida. Brown recently pleaded no contest to felony charges in connection with that incident. So the end result is, if the Seahawks are interested in Brown, they have no idea when he's going to be available. Nobody knows when he's going to be available. Nobody knows what kind of a suspension he's going to get. No one knows what the league will do for the most recent incident. And when you plead no contest, you're still going to get some sort of punishment. And my guess, based upon precedent, would be 4 to 6 games from that alone. And then there's the incident of harassment. What do they do for that if they determine it happened? And then the big one is the alleged sexual assault and rape that was never reduced to a criminal complaint, but was brought and is pending in a civil proceeding. Look, regardless of whatever legal standard applies before the court of Roger Goodell, and obviously it's not beyond a reasonable doubt, it's a lower bar, there isn't a middle ground here. Either the league is going to conclude that Brown did it or he didn't do it. So if they believe the alleged victim more than they believe him, they're more likely to find he did it. And if they find that he committed sexual assault and or rape, especially if they find he committed rape, how do they ever let him play in the NFL again? And the thing is, it's all still pending. One of the problems I have with the personal conduct policy, there are no dates. There are no deadlines. There is no trigger. There is no requirement that an investigation be completed within 60 days of its commencement. It can linger forever. And the union has no ability to fight back. And that's the way the personal conduct policy has always been. The people out there that want to dump on NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith say, well, he allowed that to be created. No, it already existed. So in order to change it, you have to be willing to make some other concession elsewhere. That's what D. Smith inherited. And look, I say this all the time as it relates to the personal conduct policy. How much does every player want to give up for something that helps on average 2 or 3 players per year? Now, it potentially could affect any of them, but as a practical matter, it's a very small fraction of the entire rank and file that ends up being affected by these things. So how much do you give up to help an Antonio Brown or the next Antonio Brown or the next Antonio Brown? There's about 1 per year. Now, I still think that the NFL should fix the policy just as a matter of what is the right thing to do in a situation like this. And I'll say this, the right thing to do is suspended for 2020, all or part of the season. He should get credit for the 14 games he missed last year because his posture, as it relates to the possible placement on the commissioner exempt list, kept teams away from signing him, plain and simple. He became radioactive. He has served a de facto 14-game unpaid suspension since this issue first came up and since the Patriots cut him after the second incident, the alleged harassment via text message of the woman who came forward to SI.com. Once that came out, that's when the Patriots moved on. He was unsigned the rest of the year, unemployed the rest of the year. And it's all because the NFL would never come out and say, yes, he'll be on the commissioner exempt list. No, he won't. It was the perfect atmosphere to scare people away from signing Antonio Brown. The end result is he's missed 14 games, period. So if he gets suspended 16 games this year, well, he should get credit for 14. If it gets suspended 12 games, anyway, you can do the math. I can't. Bottom line is he should get credit for those games. So, yes, it looks like the Seahawks are interested. But, no, there's no clarity as to when he'll be able to play. And yes, I believe whatever happens with the one resolved incident, at least as the criminal courts are concerned, the two other pending incidents as it relates to the NFL, all of those things, whatever the punishment is, he should get credit for the 14 games that he essentially served last year in the form of an unpaid suspension.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.